essential foundation on which to build anything at all. There were inconsistent and incoherent strategies, culminating in the Doha Agreement between the Trump administration and the Taliban. In my view, the wrong deal made far too late on the wrong terms for the wrong reasons. And then there were the impacts of the failure on the prestige and the credibility of the United States and its allies at a time of escalating geopolitical tensions. And of course, as President Biden set out repeatedly, that changing international environment was a large part of his decision, not the only part, but a large part of his decision to press ahead with implementing Trump's deal with the Taliban. So some questions. Why did any of this happen? How did we get it so badly wrong? Some personal thoughts for discussion. Why did the 20-year campaign fail? It cannot possibly have been for lack of resources. Depending on what you count, the US and its allies spent north of $2 trillion on that campaign. Vast numbers of lives, huge amounts of political capital. But we created a state and a military that were dependent on this, and they quickly collapsed when the US and allied military left. Why did the US and its allies, including its Afghan allies, never achieve a coherent strategy in Afghanistan? In my view, what Afghanistan demonstrates very clearly is that what are essentially political and societal questions cannot be fixed by military means alone. They may in fact be made worse by the application of military force. I bring out 4 key drivers of strategic failure. We had a bit of a discussion in Cambridge on this last week. There are of course more. My 4 are first of all our support for and reliance on a cast of political leaders who were fractious, factionalized, and in some cases predatory. Second, a counterinsurgency war against the Taliban that was, I would say, guaranteed to alienate many ordinary Afghans from the vast foreign military forces and from the state that they were there to support. Third, a failure to address Pakistan's role in supporting and facilitating the Taliban in pursuit of their policy of strategic depth against India. And fourth, I've already touched on the calamitous consequences of the war in Iraq. I'd also add in an overarching one, which is certainly one for policymakers, and I think it's also for academics as well. It's the effects of cognitive biases. Cognitive confirmation bias and optimism bias above all else. The art of seeing what we want to see, not what is actually happening, and our tendency to put the best possible construction on what is happening, disregarding, filtering out less convenient or less flattering interpretations of events. We, I would say primarily the US, but the UK plays its role in this too,